Nandita Bijur. Nandita was a brave child, a strong-headed youngster who had a dream which has reaped successful results. She is the owner of Uma Food Products, an enterprise worth several crores of rupees today. But there was no one around to take her for shopping. Her father did the best he could, but he couldn't do very much. She had two aunts who were kind and loving, and she is eternally grateful to them. Nandita's childhood was very traumatic and left any scars on her psyche. When she and her elder brother were only about 6 and 8, their mother, Malti, fell ill. It was a long-drawn illness. While still a child, Nandita was thrust into the role of the women of the house. She never had much time to go out and play like the other little girls in the neighborhood. Nandita's inner strength and determination surfaces. Most relatives were not very kind and sometimes forgot she and her brother even existed. Relatives frequently referred to her as poor Nandita, which burned her up. Very early in her teens, Nandita decided that she was not a poor thing, and refused to be called that. She would show them. She decided that a day would come when the same people who now pointed to her and said, "There goes Malti's daughter, poor thing," would say instead, "There goes Malti's daughter, the successful businesswoman." Nandita's husband, a good, kind man. That was the beginning of her turnaround. Nandita was a school teacher and her husband, Pramod, a chemist. Neither had any entrepreneurs in their families. But they had a shared dream to start a small business of their own. However, there was one big problem. They didn't have the capital to invest in a business. Soon they had 2 children and they needed both their incomes to live a comfortable life. One evening, Pramod felt like eating some ice cream. He noticed an ice cream mix in a store and bought it. He asked Nandita to make some ice cream using the mix, which she did. When they finished their dinner, they had the ice cream for dessert. Nandita was disappointed. It just didn't taste as good as the ice cream she had earlier made at home. That night when everyone went to sleep, Nandita tossed and turned in bed thinking about the perfect ingredients that would make a great ice cream mix. At about 4 a.m. she woke up, tiptoed into the dining room, and wrote down on a piece of paper the recipe for an ice cream mix. Little did she know then that this recipe that she penned down on a scrap of paper in the wee hours of the morning, would, a few years later, make them rich. When Pramod woke up in the morning, Nandita gave him the piece of paper with the recipe for the ice cream mix and told him, "I know what our business is going to be. We're going to make an excellent ice cream mix that people are going to love." When she made the ice cream at home with her own recipe, her kids exclaimed, "Mummy, this is yummy." She decided to call it, Yummy Ice Cream. She took out Rs. 5,000 from her savings account and invested it in buying the ingredients and packaging materials. At first she made the ice cream mix at home in her own kitchen. She packaged it and sold it to friends and neighbors. The demand for the ice cream grew in leaps and bounds. Soon it grew so big that she had to work all night and even enlist the help of her children and husband to meet the demand. She realized that she would have to quit her job. She couldn't continue to do it at home. So she rented a small shed for her first factory in Jogeshwari. Nandita got a bank loan for Rs. 70,000 for the factory premises and pledged her jewelry to get an additional loan for Rs. 40,000. At first, she couldn't afford to hire many staff, so her children helped at the factory after school. As Nandita became more and more successful with her ice cream mix, she introduced new products such as Gulab Jamun mix and Basundi mix. She now has over 40 products. Soon her sales shot up and she hired more employees. Her husband still continued to work at his job. Nandita hired a capable distributor for her products. Her sales quadrupled. She hired even more employees and moved to a bigger factory. The distributor suggested a major advertising blitz. So, she invested Rs. 6 lakhs on TV commercials, magazine and newspaper advertisements, displays, billboards and so on. Then one day, disaster struck. Nandita did not know that there was already a company by the name of Yummy Ice Creams in Goa. Nandita had not bothered to find out if the name, Yummy Ice Cream, was already registered and trademarked by someone else. The businessman from Goa arrived with CBI officers and stormed into her factory and her home. He threatened to sue her until she was ruined. The distributor intervened and mediated, and she also took legal advice. They negotiated with the Goa businessman and settled out of court. This proved so expensive that she almost gave up. Now once again she had no money. Successful businesswoman kept her going. She changed the name of her company to Uma Food Products, after her mother-in-law and grandmother, who were both called Uma. Her packaged mixes were renamed Eat Me. Nandita and her husband saved the business at about this time. Nandita's husband quit his job and joined the business. He became the distributor of their products. They worked day and night and paid off all their loans. She learned a great deal from her mistakes and felt confident to run a successful business venture. She has been successful running her business now for the past 9 years.